live on the air. I'm Richard Saile.
This is wild.
Hello, welcome back to another episode of Loungetime. I'm your host, Richard Saile. Week 15 officially in the books. We are on week 16 of the NFL season, so we have 3 more regular season weeks of football before we get into playoffs. Now, we don't really have a lot of games to kind of go over since a lot of these games were mostly by more than 2 scores. I picked kind of 4 that I really thought were like the best 4, especially since we're kind of narrowing down to like who's in the hunt and, you know, who's clinched, and like any warning signs for some teams that are in the playoffs not looking too good or that are looking pretty good that, you know, we talk about. But here's kind of how the schedule's going to work, guys, because it's a little crazy on my end. So you guys will get today this episode probably about tomorrow, okay? And then next week, that might go out a little later. It might not be next week because of some things that I've got going on, but I'll have this recorded in advance. So it might come out after the week 17 games. Don't worry, okay? Don't worry if it does, okay? You could judge how my picks were. You could judge my analysis. And then after, week 18 might be a little later because I don't think there's any Thursday night games. I think there's just Saturday and Sunday, but they usually like to do playoff relevant games. So we will have that at least by that Friday of week 18. So, and then we got our playoffs reaction show, which will be, that will also be the Friday after that. So that's just kind of an update as far as the schedule goes, because it's really, you know, all the stuff we've got to go over at this point, because really, guys, we're almost done with the regular season. Once we get to the playoffs, I mean, a lot of these shows are going to be much shorter. I'm going to try to have some guests on for the playoffs. I've already talked to some people with as to who wants to come on. Some friends of mine will be on. It should be fun. So we got an exciting playoff content stretch that should be fun. I have some friends that also want to talk NBA. And, you know, we've talked a little NBA in years past, but not a lot. But, you know, figured we'd change things up a little bit, you know, because basketball usually starts to heat up around after Christmas. So, let's start off with the Week 15 recaps, starting with the Vikings and the Bengals. Now, I didn't get a chance to watch this game. I actually was doing something while this game was going on. So, Nick Mullins started for the Vikings over Joshua Dobbs. 26 of 38, 303 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. I was not a big Nick Mullins fan when he was in San Francisco. I think he was with the Was he with the Raiders at one point? I'm trying to remember. But I know he was in San Francisco last. I wasn't crazy about him. Ty Chandler, 23 carries, 132 yards and a touchdown. Jordan Addison went off. 6 catches, 111 yards, 2 touchdowns. Justin Jefferson, 7 catches, 84 yards. Hawkinson, 6 for 63. You know, their receivers did well. Their running game did well. But why did they botch is what you're probably wondering. Well, we're going to get into that. Defense gave up 27 points allowed. That's really hard, especially if you're down to like really your third, possible 4th string quarterbacks, really. I know that they were looking for a backup and they ended up getting Dobbs. So when you're down to really like your 2nd and your 3rd string quarterback, it's rough, man. But that's not helping. As far as, you know, who as far as helping them out. Defense, they got 5 sacks on the quarterback. INT, one takeaway is not really a lot. Your missed opportunities, though, you had 3. All right? And these were big turning points in this game. And this is what I say, guys, when it's missed opportunities. I understand you're not going to be perfect. I understand that. But this is why you got to really look at the tape and you really got to understand, okay, there's certain drives that lose you games. There's certain possessions that come back to haunt you and bite you. INT, turnover and downs. Those little things hurt you. And that's just the stuff that, loses you games when you can't convert, when you turn it over. And the Vikings are still alive in the playoff mix, but again, they just, they're just okay. They're not they're not insane, but they're not really good. They're all right. 5 of 12 on third down. That's actually not as bad as we're making it seem, because it's slightly under 50%. So it's right around close to 40. I mean, that's not terrible. So I'm not opposed to that. I'm not going to beat them that much on third down. 2 of 5 in the red zone. That is not good at all. 2 of 5 in the red zone won't get it done. That's 40% in the red zone. That's not going to get it done. 2 turnovers. Little things you guys aren't doing well, and you guys play the Lions twice and Green Bay. So now you've got 3 divisional games, all teams that are going to need it. You're not playing good ball on top of it. I don't know if I can trust you guys down the stretch. I, have a friend of mine that's a Vikings fan who might be watching this right now. And let's be honest, he's told me they're cursed. I don't blame him for saying this, but you guys do not look good right now. There's a really good chance you guys don't make the playoffs. There's a really, really good chance you guys don't make the playoffs. Which brings me to the Bengals side of things. Jake Browning, 29 of 42, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He played pretty good. I mean, you know what he actually reminds me of? And I'm not saying this to be a little harsh, and I don't want this to be taken in the wrong context. He reminds me of Matt Castle from my Patriots back in 2008. My first year I started really watching a little football. Because Matt Castle was actually a pretty good backup for us, but we couldn't beat the Steelers that year, the Colts, the Dolphins. I know we couldn't beat with the Wildcat. The Chargers were 8-8 that year in San Diego before they were the LA Chargers, and then we lost to the Jets in overtime. But Matt Castle was not a terrible backup. He really wasn't. So, like I said, Jake Browning so far does not look like a terrible backup. And I know you're going to say, well, he has the same weapons as Burrow has in the running games there. But they're not. But he's actually not a bad backup. He's actually doing a great job holding his team down. They're in a wild card spot currently. Jake Browning reminds me a lot of Matt Castle. So I've got some feeling that, I kind of do want the Bengals to be good, especially if they could play the Chiefs in the first round and then make them sweat. That would be so funny if they upset them in the playoffs, because then we would have a great time roasting Mahomes. And, Chief bandwagons would have to not love watching it. So, but I kind of root for the Bengals, to kind of make the playoffs with the backup, because I'm still, a little bummed that our 2018, which was 11-5, did not make the playoffs. I know we had a lot of old washed-up vets, but we were still a good team that year. It's just we didn't make it because AFC was really good that year too. And the AFC West winner had to be 8-8. History lesson, sorry. But speaking of the Bengals, I know you guys are going to tell me, Rich, you wrote him off after Joe Burrow got hurt. I did. But did anybody think Jake Browning was this good? Hey, if you're a Bengals fan, you knew he was good? credit to you. If you did it like I did, then don't roast me. Because nobody thought he'd be this good. Okay? And he's playing well. I gotta give him credit. He's playing well. Okay? And, these aren't, like, trash cans. I know they lost the Steelers in Cincinnati. They're going to play the Steelers again. But he beat in Jacksonville. He beat the Colts. He beat now the Vikings. All teams that need it. And those are good quality wins. And you're playing now Pittsburgh, who's still technically in it. I know they don't look good right now, but they're a team that still needs it. You play the Chiefs in Arrowhead, before your divisional game against Cleveland end of the year. So, if the Bengals can make the playoffs with Jake Browning, I think he's going to be a very good audition for a good backup that might need a starter. Because he's playing really well. So, I've got to say that, Jake Browning, this is like your audition tape, man, for you to be a starter in this league. And if you, put on a great showing these last three regular season games, there's a good chance that somebody might look at him and say, we might look at him as maybe a good backup, maybe a starter in this league. Because he's playing well. I know people are going to look at the Bengals receiving core and the running backs and stuff and be like, yeah, he should be playing well. Well, somebody gave Matt Castle a chance to start in Kansas City. So, who knows? Maybe there's a better opportunity that opens up. Joe Mixon ran the ball. 10 carries for 47 yards and a touchdown. Did all right. Jamar Chase, before he got hurt, 4 catches, 64 yards. T. Higgins, 4 catches, 61 yards, and 2 touchdowns. I did see the 1 touchdown. He did get to overtime. That was really nice. The offensive line, though, oh, man, this is their team's Achilles heel. The last couple of years. 5 sacks allowed. This is going to be their kryptonite. If they cannot protect Jake Browning, they're done. They are done. You don't protect Jake Browning, it's over. Okay? Because we saw it happen to the 49ers when Purdy got hurt and out of the game. Okay? Their offensive line, San Francisco's, is really good. I'm just saying that particular instance, if Browning goes down, you're really done. Okay? So, like I said, offensive line, my biggest worry with this team moving forward. The defense, I praised Lou Anarumo in years past. I'm going to do it again. 24 points allowed, that's average in this league. That's average. Usually the number, I would say to be great now in today's league, 20 and under. I know that's not great now, but 20 and under I think is more impressive. Anything like 21 and over, it's kind of like all right. Okay, it's just average. Really, I think if you're over 30, then you really are not that good of a defense. But 24 points allowed, average, 3 sacks, 11 quarterback hits. That's a lot of quarterback hits. 2 picks, 1 missed opportunity was an INT. 6 of 13 on third down, under 50%. That's actually good. 2 of 4 in the red zone though, with 1 turnover in the game as well. The red area is going to be critical. You have red zone players, okay? The turnover, okay, that's going to happen. The red zone, though, you've got to be much sharper. You're playing defenses now that are good defenses. Pittsburgh's still a really good defense. Cleveland at the end of the year is a really good defense. Kansas City is a really good defense. That red zone offense needs to be better if you guys are going to be seriously talked about as being a playoff team, okay? The AFC has so many good teams right now playing well with 2 spots really, well, I don't want to say 2 spots available, but it's looking that way if Cleveland clinches. But if Cleveland does not clinch, then 3 wild cards are between, 8 different teams? It's crazy. So, that's that. Speaking of the Browns, Chicago Bears, Cleveland Browns. Now, you guys are probably asking, Rich, did you start Justin Fields in fantasy this week? No, I did not. I did not start him. Because I had this feeling that he was not going to do well. I saw the weather forecast, and I was like, nope. And I had Matthew Stafford I started, which ended up being clutch. He ended up getting me a little over 18. But here's the funny part. I did not think Jared Goff would throw 5 touchdowns and get me 31 fantasy points on the bench. So, yeah, that was a little surprising. But we made it work. We ended up winning, so I'm now in the semifinals. But yeah, I didn't start Justin Fields. I am starting him though this week. There's no secret on that. I'm starting him this week against Arizona. So, speaking of Justin Fields, 19 of 40 for 166 yards, a touchdown and 2 picks. As a thrower, he did all right. But it was raining, so he did okay. I don't think a lot of the passes were on him. I'm half tired, guys. Don't worry, but I'm fighting through it. A lot of the passes I didn't think were on him specifically. The 4th and 1, the dude really couldn't reach over for a yard, which we'll get to, but that was an accurate ball. The Hail Mary, right in Mooney's hands, just went up like a volleyball serve and right into the defender's hands for Cleveland. But I didn't think he did terrible. I mean, that's a really good defense as far as yards and stuff. They're not going to make it look easy for you. So, as a thrower, he did all right. I know as a running quarterback, he didn't play well. But again, with the conditions, the rain, he was just not really that great. But I'm not going to blame him that much because that is also a really good defense too. So, again, he did all right, but he did keep him in the game, which is, a good thing. Cole Kmet had a receiving touchdown. The Chicago Bears defense, 20 points allowed. I mean, I know I said 20 and under is great, but it's okay. I mean, 4 sacks, 3 INTs. I mean, they're getting takeaways. They're getting pressure on the quarterback. They're keeping opponents right where they need to keep them usually to win games. They did get a touchdown. Tremaine Edmonds had a pick 6. But their offense is just so challenged. And this is where I never understood why they never went out and got Justin Fields really good receivers. Like DJ Moore's your best option. I don't know why you would want to trade him when you literally have Marvin Harrison Jr. probably going to be number 1 overall on the board. I don't understand why you would want to trade Justin Fields. It's just mind-boggling. INT, turnover on downs, INT. Again, they had the one drive. I know that was really good. They were moving the ball well, and then they just got stopped short. The Hail Mary pick was not on him. That was on Mooney for not catching it. The other one before, that's just a killer drive. But 4 of 18 on 3rd down. Oh man, that's bad. That is really bad. Yeah, that won't work. 0-2 on 4th down and 3 turnovers. I mean, I hope the Bears don't get rid of Justin Fields because I am trying to have hope for Tank for Caleb. And my only fear now becomes do they end up trading that pick to go to a team that desperately wants Caleb Williams? That's my only fear right now. Because Justin Fields, I think, is playing well to where they won't trade him. Although that's the other 1A, 1B worry I do have. Because I am hoping my New England Patriots land Caleb Williams in the worst way. I know some people will want Drake May, and I like Jaden Daniels. I think Michael Penix is really good. I don't know why he's not a first-round quarterback according to most people's minds. I don't know that reason, but again, I wouldn't be sold. I know people like Drake May. I don't see it personally. I think there's something missing. Jaden Daniels is really good. And then I like Penix, as well. But he would probably be my 3rd. May would be 4th. And I have Jaden Daniels 2nd. And then Caleb's obviously 1. But then if you had to give me a 5th, I would probably take Bo Nix at 5. But I don't want Bo Nix. I don't. I would be out once again if we got Bo Nix. I would be out. As far as the Browns go, Joe Flacco, 28 of 44, 374 yards, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks. Played not really good for the first, half, maybe 3 quarters. And then all of a sudden caught fire in the fourth quarter and threw 2 big touchdowns to Njoku and Cooper. Did throw 3 picks. So, again, I don't think he played well, but he, played his role as a game manager, which he does best. And helped him win the game. They had no running game whatsoever at all. Amari Cooper, 4 catches, 109 yards and a touchdown. And Njoku, 10 catches, 104 yards and a touchdown. Offensive line, though, did give up 4 sacks. I'm not going to worry so much about this line, but, if they play Miami, which they're on track to play, Jacksonville. If they play Jacksonville like they did last week, then I wouldn't be that, worried. But if you play like Miami, Kansas City, Baltimore, I'd be worried. Defense, one of the best defenses in the league right now. 10 points allowed, 3 sacks, 2 INTs. They really have been playing great football. I mean, Myles Garrett's got to win Defensive Player of the Year. I think this team, it would not surprise me if they got to the divisional round. It would not surprise me. I don't think they will, because I think Jacksonville, for some reason, is going to figure it out. It's just going to take a little longer. I wouldn't be shocked if Cleveland upsets them. I'm going to tell you right now, because I don't like what Jacksonville's doing right now. I think Doug Peterson is very greedy with his passing game. He thinks he's just going to throw when he just ignores his running game. I think Kansas City, they have the defense to slow Mahomes down. But again, for those of you that don't remember, this defense was slightly worse 3 years ago in the playoffs when they played Kansas City. But they did hold mostly Chad Henne to 22 points. Okay? The problem was Stefanski got scared and didn't go for it, and that's what, did them in. I think Cleveland is a better defense to slow Mahomes and company down, but can Joe Flacco do enough with that defense of Kansas City he's got to go up against? I don't know if they can, but they got guys that could maybe hang in there a little bit. But if they play Miami or if they play Baltimore, I don't think they would win. Actually, they might be better actually against Miami. They would not beat Baltimore, I'll tell you that right now. I know they beat Baltimore early in the year. I know, but that was with Deshaun Watson. So I think they could definitely beat Miami, because I think Tua, when he plays a team that gets after the quarterback, I don't think that's when he's good. Okay. So I think they could beat Miami. I think they can maybe beat Kansas City. They could beat Jacksonville the way they're playing right now. So it would not surprise me if they get to the divisional round. They definitely have the defense to do it. I just don't think they are going to get to the championship game, because I think there's teams in the AFC right now that I think are slightly better than the Browns right now. Okay? Now, INT for touchdown and a pick. Those were some bad drives. 4 of 16 on third down. It was one of those games where they really couldn't get third down going. Not great. 1 for 3 in the red zone. That's alarming. 9 penalties and 3 turnovers. Sloppy, ugly win. But Kevin Stefanski's doing a really good job with this team, especially with their backup quarterback now. He's another one. They're doing amazing things with, Joe Flacco holding up, and you got to give some of these coaches credit with the backup quarterbacks. They're holding up. They're still sticking to what they're doing, and they're finding winning formulas that are working. So Stefanski's doing a great job. Steichen's doing a great job. Who else did I just say was doing a great job with the backup? I feel like I just said this too. Probably in the NFC. I'm trying to think who the hell it was. It'll come to me, guys, when we go through picks. But again, the Cleveland Browns, close to that 10-win mark and, close to clinching that playoff spot. Washington against the Rams. Sam Howell got benched. Jacoby Brissett 8 for 10 for 124 yards, 2 touchdowns. Wow. The backup came in, literally played a quarter, and was better than Sam Howell. Who would have thought? Terry McLaurin, 6 catches, 141 yards, and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel, 5 catches, 41 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Defense gave up 28 points allowed, 3 sacks. I think they had 3 fumble recoveries. This is the thing Washington's going to have to decide, right? Now, you're projected to maybe finish in the top 4 or 5, but you need offensive line, you need defense, and you're supposed to have a lot of cap space and some good second, third round pick value. So, you guys have a lot of really good things that you can look forward to, but if you end up getting a guy like Bill Belichick, that first round pick is going to be out the window, okay? And Josh Harris is willing to spend money. So my question becomes, where do they focus the majority of their pickups? Because Sam Howell looked really good at times this season, but now you really got to protect him and you got to get a defense. Because the receivers are good. The skill guys are really good. It's just that, offensive line and then defense is bad. So that's very interesting to see where Washington's going to go, especially if they're going to go fire Ron Rivera and go get a Belichick or whoever's available. Maybe they keep Bieniemy in-house. And that would be, interesting too. And then, you kind of wonder, what would they do with that 4th pick? Turnover on downs a pick. They just could not sustain winning. Well, not winning drives. They couldn't sustain drives to keep them in the game early and dug them in. And it's a rough one for, the Commanders, as they're probably on the verge of being out too. They're kind of on the verge of being, some huge draft order spot next week with the Jets. 3 of 14 on third down, 2 for 3 in the red zone, and a turnover. You can't convert on the money downs. You're not going to win games. Especially when you're mostly scoring like 6 points maybe all game. That's not great, dude. That is not great. So, Washington, you're going to probably be enjoying that top 10 pick, but you're going to have a lot of decisions in the offseason to make. Matthew Stafford, 25 of 33, 258 yards, 2 touchdowns. Played pretty good. Obviously, I had him in fantasy. Thanks for winning me a match this week. Kyron Williams, 27 carries, 152 yards, and a touchdown. They found their new running back. I mean, when they got rid of Cam Akers, I'm like, who are they going to have at running back? Kyron Williams has answered that call, and he's doing a really good job for the Rams. Cooper Kupp, 8 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown. Puka Nacua, 5 catches for 50 yards. Demarcus Robinson caught a receiving touchdown. Defense held Washington 20. That's going to work. A sack, an INT, really good. I mean, like I said, 20 is now considered the new average. Back then it wasn't great, but today it's average, so it's really kind of like, all right, they did, hold them up. As long as your offense could score 21, they're good. But, the Rams are now holding firm on one of the last wild card spots. And Sean McVay and company, I said early in the year, this is not a bad team. And, again, are they part of the big boys in the NFC? No, but that man, Sean McVay, can coach up an offensive scheme. And he could definitely find creative ways to keep his team, closer in games and give his team the best shot to win. And Sean McVay is doing a tremendous job this season. So kudos to him. Fumble, missed field goal for the missed opportunities. That might be the only thing you got to worry about is the 2 fumbles by Kyron Williams and then the missed field goal. So, a little lucky that like their defense was able to hold on, but you play against those good teams, that's not going to give you that opportunity to stay in that ball game, and that's going to be concerning. But some little errors that they could definitely fix. It's correctable, but they're going to need to really hone in on taking care of the ball. 9 for 16 on third down, really good. That's over 50%. That's great. 1 for 3 in the red zone, could be a little better. 2 turnovers, a little shaky there. But again, the Rams, we got to remember that offense. Kupp, Stafford, and then on defense, Aaron Donald. They know what it takes to win a championship. So I can't rule them out come playoff time. But you never know between what's going to happen now and the last day of the regular season when all this playoff positioning is being sorted out. But the Rams are a really good team. So they are kind of like fighting along, and I like what I'm seeing from Sean McVay and company. I said week 5, this is not a bad team, okay? This is not a bad football team. Eagles-Seattle. Okay, I watched this game after I had to get back from something Monday night. So I did catch this. First of all, can I just say this? As soon as I heard Matt Patricia was going to be the new defensive coordinator and calling plays, I laughed out loud. I was like, yeah, good luck with him, because I'm just glad he's not my team's problem anymore, because that dude is the most overrated defensive coordinator ever in league history. This dude sucks. This dude sucks. I don't know why, people think he's good. I don't know what the fuck you guys have been watching. This dude sucks, okay? Bill Belichick carried his ass on defense. When really, he gave up, what? I know his defenses were, 24 against Seattle, 28 against Atlanta. Remember if he gave up 41 to Nick Foles, okay? And the Lions were never really good on defense with him anyway. This dude is the most overrated defensive coordinator in the history of football, bro. He is so garbage. This dude is ass. I don't know why people think he's good. He sucks. This dude is not that good. I remember his early days in New England. I'm like, this dude's our defensive coordinator? And he fucking was god-awful. God-awful. I never liked him in New England. Never did. And I was glad we got rid of him. Twice we got rid of him. And I've never been happier when that dude's off my fucking team. Good. Get him the fuck out. He sucks. Okay? 20 points. Jalen Hurts. I know he was, what, he had the flu or whatever. I know he wasn't, doing well. But guys, I got to call this like I see this, bro. He did not play well at all this game. At all. Don't give me the tush push with the 2 rushing touchdowns. Please. No. He did not do good at all. The 1 interception where he throws it basically like a punt to Julian Love. Dude, that's covered. What are you doing throwing that ball up there like that? And then the second one, I don't know if that was Sirianni's call or Brian Johnson's, but that was double coverage. The safety literally, and he had a corner with help underneath. What are you doing, dude? That was literally, terrible. Jalen Hurts did not play well this game at all. He did not play well this game at all. And now he's questioning commitment of his team. That is bad, considering now they're on a 3-game losing streak. You've got your quarterback questioning commitment on this team. You've got the defense being run by Matt Patricia. Bad sign. That's why I avoided Eagles defensive fantasy, because that fucking dude's going to sell. So he's ass. And this team now has lost 3 straight. This team was 10-1. They have played good competition, and they are struggling. They are so lucky they get the Giants twice and the Cardinals. Come on, bro. You guys are not that good. Okay? 13 carries, 82 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm not making a big deal of the rushing. It feels like all he does is just stare down, and then if nothing's open, he runs. Like, I just don't like the way he uses his eyes pre-snap. I don't think he does a good job of looking who's open. That's just me. Okay? DeAndre Swift, 18 carries, 74 yards. Very disappointing, you guys, DeAndre Swift and A.J. Brown, who had 5 catches for 56 yards. You guys literally got me single digits, bro. All right? I literally won by, like, I don't know if it was 18. Dude, we won, like, barely. We were up. I thought, I'd be going up pretty favorably. But Kenneth Walker going off, which we'll get to in a minute, these guys literally just, it's going to be Sweatsville, bro. It's going to be Sweatsville. If these guys cannot produce me. Devontae Smith, 5 catches, 50 yards. Defense, held him to 20. Like, it's good. But that last second touchdown, oh no, James Bradbury, dude. Yeah, you look like you're done, James Bradbury. I mean, you had a good season last year. You're known for the unfortunate holding call in the Super Bowl. You are kind of heading on the way out, dude. You're basically done. INT. Yeah, Jalen Hurts didn't take care of the ball well. 9 of 16 on third down, 2 turnovers. The Eagles' offense looks very, very concerning right now, and I'm going to be honest with you guys. This team might make it to the second round, but if you play Detroit, Dallas, or San Francisco, you might be in jeopardy of losing. You guys do not look good at all right now, and it is, very worrisome. Very worrisome for sure. Which brings me to Drew Lock. 22 of 33, 208 yards, a touchdown. He played well. He mostly did okay. Took a lot of unnecessary sacks, but, did pretty well. And then, he had the game-winning touchdown where he was accurate. He did a good job with the ball, putting it where it had to be. And, he did pretty okay. Kenneth Walker, 19 carries, 86 yards and a touchdown. Oh, my God. Dude, I had to sweat him so bad. I was getting nervous like fourth quarter. I'm like, no, do not come back and beat me. No. And I'm very glad he didn't because I got away with a huge scare. It's probably because I was trash-talking someone in my league that I think is a fraudulent 1 seed. So, that's got cleared up now. But, like I said, man, he gave me a scare, but he definitely had his way with the Eagles, had some big runs. DK Metcalf, 5 catches, 78 yards. All right, basically in the fourth quarter, most of his catches came. Jackson Smith and Jigba, 4 catches for 48 yards and a touchdown. He's really emerging for them as maybe their future number 2 receiver, with Tyler Lockett getting up there in age. But, he's playing good ball. Defense gave up 17 points allowed. They didn't get any sacks, but they did get 2 interceptions by Julian Love. So the Seahawks defense did much better against the Eagles at home, but do I really trust this defense going into the last 3 games? No, I do not. So I'm not expecting this defense to play amazing these next 3 weeks, but Seattle has gotten through their gauntlet. But they really need to wake the hell up and, try to really make a fight for that last wild card spot. 6 of 14 on third down. That's actually not terrible. Under 50%. 0 for 2 in the red zone is not good. Literally a deep touchdown was the only thing that saved them. But, little things Seattle's got to work on, and then they'll be okay. All right, guys. As you can see, I'm starting to, feel a little tired. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go rapid fire with the Week 15 picks. Starting off with tomorrow night, Rams and Saints. I don't think the Saints offense is that good. Do not get yourselves fooled with them scoring 20-something on the Giants. I don't think they're going to score with the Rams that much. I do think the Rams will score on them. And I got the Rams 24-13 over the Saints tomorrow night. So no tweet will be coming out on X. It will literally just be from this podcast. So Rams 24, Saints 13. Bengals Steelers. Not interested in this game at all. Like, I might watch it, but I'm not, like, insanely, like, wanting to watch this. I think Jake Browning and company have their way. I know they go to Pittsburgh this time, but I do think that the Steelers are just heading in the wrong direction. Trubisky's not playing well, or Kenny Pickett's not playing well. But again, this Steelers team, they're just falling apart before our eyes, and Mike Tomlin is on the verge of having his first losing season. So I'm going with the Bengals 28, the Steelers 10. Bills Chargers. If I'm being real, America, there's only you aren't ready for this? If I'm being real, America, you know who the two best teams in the AFC are right now? And I'll be shocked if neither one of them represents the AFC in the Super Bowl. You ready? The Ravens and the Bills are the two best teams in the AFC right now. They are. They're better than Miami. They're better than Kansas City. They're better than Jacksonville. They're better than Cleveland. They're better than anybody else fighting for those wild card spots. Baltimore and the Bills are the two best teams in the AFC right at this moment. They are. Okay? I think Easton Stick, however you pronounce his last name, I'm sorry if I'm butchering it, but dude, this is a shit game. If Justin Herbert was playing, I might have tuned in, but I am not. No, I'm good. Give me the Bills 42, the Chargers 0. This is a shutout, blowout city, bro. This game is going to be awful. I'm not watching. Colts and Falcons. I like what I've seen from Shane Steichen's group. Arthur Smith lost to the worst team in football. He always ruins highly offensively talented players. So I'm going to go with the Colts in this one. I like the way Minshew's been playing. They've got the running game with Taylor and Moss. Pittman's a good receiver. Downs from North Carolina will get worked in more. I've got the Colts winning 31-17 over the Falcons. I just trust Steichen and that team much more than I do with Atlanta. Seahawks Titans. Guys, I'm telling you right now, these next couple of games are going to be unders. All right, and I think that this is what it's going to be. All right, I don't think Seattle's going to score much, even if Geno comes back or if Geno doesn't. And then I'm going to think the Titans will not do the same. So I'm going Seahawks 20, Titans 13. I just trust Pete Carroll and company with their team as opposed to Tennessee, who's kind of just building for the future. So Seahawks 20, Titans 13. Lions Vikings. I don't trust the Lions defense yet. Minnesota's defense is a little shaky too. So give me the over. And let's go with the Lions 35-27 over the Vikings. I think Jared Goff and company are going to have a good time throwing the football. So I'm going to go with the Lions 35, the Vikings 27. Commanders Jets. Oh, God. Again, bro, like I said, I don't think this game's going to be competitive now that Rodgers shut himself down for the year. I'm going to go Washington 14, the Jets 10. I don't think the Jets are interested in winning. I think they're just interested in what draft pick they're at. Washington, I think, is going to win. So give me Washington 14, the Jets 10. Another shit game. Okay? Packers Panthers. Green Bay has the second worst rush defense in the league. I think Jordan Love will play good. I just don't know if he'll play amazing. I hope Carolina wins because I want my Tank for Caleb sweepstakes to be in it. But I got to be honest, if I were picking, I'm going with the Packers to win 19-16 over the Panthers. Browns Texans. I'm going to prepare as if CJ Stroud is not playing. Okay? Which makes this pick not fairly easy, but, a pretty fair of the majority. Give me the Browns 20-17 over the Texans. I don't think C.J. Stroud will end up playing. I think they want to keep him healthy. And I do think that the Browns are pretty damn good. They're going to be fighting for that playoff spot. And I think they got the defense to rattle up C.J. Stroud or Case Keenum. So I'm going with the Browns to win 20-17 over the Texans. Jaguars and Tampa Bay. All right, this one might have a little bit more scoring than I have. But I think that Trevor Lawrence, Travis Etienne, they will play better this game. So give me the Jaguars 30, the Bucks 20. I think this team is gonna find their way back into the win column. And the what's it called? Tampa, Baker Mayfield's coming off a great game, but I don't think he can stay consistent this well. So, give me Jacksonville 30, Tampa Bay 20. I trust the Jaguars to win this game much more than Tampa. Cardinals and Bears. All right. I think the Bears end up winning, but that's not going to be my pick. I've got rooting interest, so I'm going to root like crazy for them. Give me the Arizona Cardinals to beat the Chicago Bears and win this game. I'm praying Arizona wins so that way we can get an easier cushion on that top 2 draft pick. I got faith that Kyler can outduel Fields, although I'm going to need Fields to go crazy because I have him in fantasy, so I got to be a little careful with this. But I'm going with the Cardinals 24, Chicago 20. I think both teams are going to be okay in scoring, but it's going to come down to who takes care of the ball. And I think that I trust Kyler a little bit more than Justin Fields. Cowboys-Dolphins. This game I will be watching. I do not trust Tua against good teams. I think the Cowboys are mad they got pounced in Buffalo. I think they're mad they got bullied. They got embarrassed on national TV. The media's going all off after them. And I don't think Tua can beat elite teams. So I'm going to go with the Dallas Cowboys 31-24 over the Miami Dolphins. I trust Dak Prescott to outduel Tua Tagovailoa. And I think Tua is all right. I don't think he's, great. That's all I'm saying. You Tua fans can get at me. That's fine. I'm going to tell you right now, just wait for me. When does he beat a good team? When does he beat an elite team that is a really good team? When? Because he hasn't yet, in my opinion. Broncos and Patriots. Garbage game. Bailey Zappi. No. Russell Wilson. No, I'm good. Denver 23-10 over New England. I'm gonna trust the Sean Payton and Russell Wilson to get back on track, and they moved to 8-7. So I got faith in the Denver Broncos to hold up. Chiefs and Raiders. Please, bro. Bandwagons, don't get upset, bro. They literally gifted you this game on Christmas Day when the schedule came out. You're going to win this game. Don't tell me Jimmy Garoppolo scares you. Don't tell me Aiden O'Connell scares you. I'm not going to buy a single word on that, bro. That is literally cap. I'm going to go with 31-14 Chiefs over the Raiders. I don't think the Raiders quarterbacks can do much. I think the defense is playing well under Antonio Pierce, but I don't think they have enough to stop Kansas City and, upset this game in Arrowhead. I don't think they do. Giants, Eagles. Tommy Cutlets turned back into average. I do think that the Eagles will play better on defense. I just don't think they'll play amazing. So give me the Eagles 27, the Giants 17. I think they're going to be just okay. You know what I mean? I think they're just going to be okay, and I don't think they're going to score much, but I think the Eagles get a late pick or something to kind of seal the deal and win this game for the Eagles. Ravens 49ers. Oof, man, this is a tough one. I expect this to be a close game. I think you're going to see some scoring. 2 MVP candidates going at it, Purdy and Lamar. I want to take Lamar because, he's doing good, but I don't know. Like I said, I think the Niners will end up winning 31-23 over the Ravens. I think Lamar Jackson is going to give the Niners some turnovers that go in their favor, and I think that the Niners will do enough offensively between Christian McCaffrey, a.k.a. CMC, Debo, Kittle, Ayuk. They're all playing well. Purdy's doing a great job with the ball. So give me the Niners 31-23 over the Baltimore Ravens. All right, guys, so that's the Week 16 picks. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, that like button, so that you guys can get all the latest updates that you guys need to know about Loungetime going forward in this season. We got a couple more weeks of regular season. We'll get some playoff content out there for you guys. And then pretty soon, we'll be back at it for March Madness. All right? You can also follow us at Loungetime Pod on X. I'd be happy to talk to you guys about football if you guys want. We're trying to build a little community over there. And then, hey, if you guys got a question for me, we might address it on the show one day. I might even answer it. So we're trying to build that. Guys, thank you so much for tuning into Lounge Time. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And I will see you guys next week on the next episode of Lounge Time. Have a great night, everybody.